Hello and welcome to the week 2 Q&A Arigato questions. You guys have submitted 13 questions. We've got a few duplicates in there, so hopefully we can get through them reasonably quickly, around about all sorts of Arigato questions and information in general. So we've had a pretty crazy week this week, and some of those things include we've had our first new team member join. We're looking for other team members. We've had we've hit 500 people joining our Telegram group. We're now nearing very close to 1,000 overall token holders. The Discord has been rebuilt, and we've reaching that over 100 members now. So we're growing pretty quick, and we're seeing some great growth in the market cap for you guys, as well as overall just holders and socials as well growing. And Twitter's grown somewhat as well. So jumping into the questions. The first question we have is around the team and doxing, I believe. So what projects and track record have we been on in the past and achievements? I'm the main person you guys speak to really on a day-to-day basis, and I work for a very large gaming company doing analytics and sort of uh, data roles. So things like building algorithms to predict prices, or trying to guess the next trends in gaming, or just informing people about different games and that side of things. In terms of projects, I've done numerous different web projects and development projects now. A few have gone to market, a few are just purely for learning different skills, but this is mostly going to be a web development app, and I think it's something that is going to suit my skills quite well. In terms of, we have Tess who's joined, who's got a career in social marketing and making sure people can see and know the brand. She's great with looking at the brand side of things and making sure everything looks neat and tidy and looks good, and actually people want to look at it as opposed to ugly documents, which maybe comes from my data side. So it's good to have people in the team. We have a back-end engineer who's doing a lot of the blockchain integration. He's got lots of experience for doing these sort of projects and sort of building applications around the blockchain and integrating. So while I can't really speak for his achievements as much, but he's a solid developer, and we're happy to have him on the team. Um, which potential customers do we have in mind? I think we have a range of different customers. Starting off, we're obviously a gaming-focused token, so I'd love to get sort of in the developers, and I sort of see it from two sides. So I imagine with the smaller indie developers, more than likely, there will be where our first key integrations come from, and we're integrating into games and rewarding players in that way. And then I imagine some partnerships with maybe bigger companies, um, maybe for one-offs to start off with. So, maybe we can help with tournaments to sort of transparently pay their players and winners in a way that hasn't really happened before. People get paid in these tournaments and stuff, but do they really? Do they actually get the amount they're promised? When do they get it? Can you see the top 50 people also getting their payment? This is something that the blockchain will solve, and you'll be able to log on and see who's got their payments, when they're getting it, what they got, that sort of thing. So that side of things for bigger companies, and we have the indie devs, and then going on from there, I foresee hopefully sort of branching out and just generally helping out in a load of different other sort of industries. So, as an example, that sort of tournament basis that I just spoke around, lots of running races and stuff have similar problems where they have people winning these races, and they want to sort of make sure the prizes are known and that sort of thing. So, while I'm not saying we're definitely going to look that way, I do like the idea of helping out in just general sort of hobbyist projects and making sure that people do get paid fairly for these sort of tournaments and rewards. So gaming focus, but other potential customers in mind down way down the line. And for alpha and beta product, it's a hard question because we're very early on and we're looking into getting the right team and getting development done. I can say that we're pretty into the POC MVP stages now, which I'm pulling together hopefully tomorrow, ready to show sometimes this week to the wider community. Um, so I can't really put a date on alpha and beta. I would hope it's definitely not going to be weeks. It's probably going to be months, and I sure hope it's not going to be years. I would pretty much bet on months. To get us to a point where people are logging on and using it and sort of finding bugs and seeing what's going on, and just generally using the program. marketing strategy other than just shilling it on social media. So if we assume that shilling is, your Reddits and your posting, your free posted by the community, then we've got paid TikToks coming up. We've had a paid TikTok. We're looking to work with YouTubers. We've got some other ideas of how we can get actual articles onto some of these sort of forums. We're looking at paid promotions across 4chan, BS Scan, and Reddit and such. So we are looking and we're sort of exploring it. Um, yeah, so hopefully over the next coming days we'll have some more news around different marketing strategies. I'm speaking with our marketing person later on today to get, tomorrow, to get a good idea around what time frame we're looking at, what does she think the best things are, and that side of things. So we're definitely talking about it, and we're very keen on doing some good marketing to grow the community and make sure people know our name. And then investors and companies. I'm unsure at this current time what our plan is with that and is going forward. It's something I've thought about a little bit, but not an overly amount. It would be another sort of time sink in terms of finding investors and dealing with that side of things when we could be looking to sort of maximize development and get further into the project. So while I do see that there's a lot of benefit to it, there are also some negatives, so it just needs to be weighed up. And I think that over the coming weeks that will come a bit more clear as to the likelihood or the sort of issues we may face coming along the way. So yes, we will be looking at it, but maybe that's a question for a couple of weeks' time. How do we increase liquidity more to sustain the increasing market cap? So the liquidity pool will rise with market cap. That's just sort of how it works in terms of we have X many Arigato and X many BNB in the liquidity pool, and as the price of those tokens rise or fall, so does the liquidity, and that means that in theory, hopefully it will sort of bumble around 2.5%, which I looked at 25, 30 tokens, and it seemed to be they were between 2% and 4%. So we're on the lower end of that. And one solution we've looked at, and I've done a little bit of development work around, is can we sort of integrate what SafeMoon's got, which is what they call an an automated liquidity pool. Um, I'm interested in that. I think it's possible for this token. I've looked at the contract and I've sort of read through theirs, read through ours to see how could we implement it into our token. And I'm interested in that. Obviously, we would need to go to community vote and sort of see what you guys think about that and sort of talk to the wider holders of the token because obviously that will have to come from somewhere. So be it whether we go to at the moment we're doing, just so everyone knows, we're doing 4% burn, 1% redistribute. We could go maybe to, a 1% redistribute, 2% burn, 2% liquidity pool, or something like that. We'll have to have a talk about it as a wider community and see what we think. But I think that's going to be the best way to increase the liquidity increase the liquidity pool to sort of sustain the increasing market cap. So yeah, I totally agree, and it's something we're looking into, something we have. I think at this point we've got a solution. We just need to make sure that you guys are okay with it, and you're happy for us to do that. And if so, what do we want to split it? So um, expect some conversations very soon around that. When will this start to be publicly advertised? Sorry about that. Well, I think we're sort of doing it now. We're reaching out and we're getting more people involved, and the growth that we've seen over the last couple of days sort of says that as well. Last week when I did this AMA, I think we had yet to hit our 100th holder, and now we're going on for 1,000 a week. So, it's 10 times. We're doing TikToks now. We've got multiple TikToks out. We've got loads of different posts over Reddit. We're looking for good YouTube partners. We're looking for other public areas to advertise. So BS Scan, as I said earlier, and those sort of paid advertisement methods that aren't influencers. So we're definitely looking to publicize it and get it publicly out there. It's just finding the right way and finding the right place. We want to try our best to avoid just generic token pumpers on TikTok and YouTube. So ideally, we want like actual partners we can work with who will help to get the awareness of Arigato out there. So I'm obviously more than happy to look at anything you have, and if you have any ideas, please do let me or Tess know. You can message us on Discord or Telegram, and we're always pretty much on to field answers. And if you don't, just write an Arigato chat and just at me, and I'll get to it. There's now I think our daily stats for yesterday was something like 2,500 messages were posted in Telegram. So while it is hard to read them all, if I'm tagged, I definitely will read it. So that's a good way to get me. Any plans to be listed on exchange in the near future? Yes, we are planning to be listed on exchanges. We've had three exchanges. We've had two that I sort of inquired about and one that I didn't, and they just messaged us saying, "Are you interested?" There's sort of two things that I'm reserved about, and I'll sort of share them now. So one of them is that we have to be audited, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're more than happy to do it. We're just not audited yet. Um, Originally, we were looking at I think it's Circuit auditing, but it turned out to be very, 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 very expensive for the process and time. So it looks like we're going to go with a different provider. I've been speaking with, I don't really know what to call him, maybe more like a release consultant who's worked with these sort of projects before, knows how it all works in terms of the auditing, the listing on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. So he's advising and sort of helping us get and negotiate some deals, and then from there we'll be looking to do some listing. So the first step is to get audited, which quotes are in process. And then we've got quotes for market listing, so we might have to do some form of fundraising or some way of generating the money, or we need to look at which one we want to go for first. But as a rough idea, each one, excluding development costs, excluding liquidity pool, excluding marketing costs, because you to um, they all require you to agree to do X much marketing alongside the launch of the token on their platform. So excluding all of the external costs, just purely the donation, I suppose you could say, to the platform. At the moment, our quotes are averaging out at $75,000 per exchange. So it's wildly expensive, but we are very keen to do it, and it's hopefully going to be in the near future. So watch the space on this. Are there any exchanges being talked to? Yes. Uh, Why would the gaming company be willing to reward gamers in Arigato? Wouldn't it cause them a loss financially? Um, I suppose yes, it would, um, but technically everything does. So they can maximize their profits by having no. They can maximize their profits by other ways. There's been a real trend recently of free games with paid in-store um, sort of content. And if a few years ago that wouldn't have been possible because they would have said, we wouldn't make enough money through that. So there's massive shifts in gaming happening at the moment, and I think that this is one of them that could happen. In terms of will it cause them financial losses? It is going to cut into their top line, but will it draw people to buy the game? It may well. You're probably more likely if there's two games on the shop and you're into crypto, and one of them says, "Oh, if you can buy it for £60, but you have the opportunity to earn back 5 or 10 of those pounds or dollars," then you're more than likely to going to go to that one. So one, it gives them a sort of shelf advantage in terms of what people pick. Two, it gives them some free publicity. These first few who integrate it are going to be getting good publicity from the crypto community as well as I think wider sort of community at large because it's not been done before. And then from there, it's going to be the case of um, they can also pick how they want to integrate it, obviously. So if they want to reward every achievement, then it definitely is going to cut into their top line because that's a lot of people. 100% of players will hit X many of the achievements, but only maybe 0.00001% will get world first and stuff. And they can choose what they want to reward, and they can reward that based on a budget that they're interested in. So if they're as an example to that, World of Warcraft will use that. If you want to reward people for getting to level 10, that's going to be a very expensive job because nearly every single person will reach level 10 on multiple characters. But if we say we want to reward someone $1,000 for doing a world first, there's only ever going to be one of those, and that's going to be part of the Arigato platform is to pick how many you want people to be rewarded. So the idea that you can set a cap on a reward, so you could maybe limit just the first person to ever achieve that, or you could do it to everyone, and that's sort of what we were aiming to do. So overall, yes, I think it will, but it's down to them to choose how much they will. From anywhere from $10 upwards can be how much they're looking to sort of integrate, and you know, people do spend a lot of this money in other ways. So tournaments and stuff, they don't have to put on tournaments, but they do it because there's interest from the community and they think it will further the game. So I think that's one point to bear in mind with gaming is that it is a bit of a passion project a lot of times, and maybe it's not as black and white as other industries. They're looking for to make it the best they possibly can, as opposed to the most amount of money. I know it doesn't feel like that sometimes, but that's my case working in gaming anyway. Let's hear more about the API and will there be an alpha for games test to try and implement it? Yes, obviously we will be doing testing. We're very keen to do testing because this is something that's sort of a first. So testing is sort of mandatory in this case. It's not going to be something that just goes straight to market. Um, as well as that, we have obviously got to um, work out the blockchain integration bits. Sorry about that. So let's hear more about this API. So the API will be a web-based API that allows people to sort of customize and build new endpoints for different games. So the way I see it is you'll log on as a game developer and you'll say, I would like to integrate Arigato into my game. So you'll create a new game and then you'll be able to create different endpoints. And the endpoints will be things that you're going to achieve, going to reward players for. So as an example, we'll create a new game called Dragon Killer, and then we're going to create a new endpoint called kill the final dragon, and then you can set a cap to unlimited or 100 players, and the first 100 players who achieve that or unlimited will then be rewarded that. And then in the game they can make a simple post request just like they would in if you're doing any sort of Python development or anything like that with their API key and the wallet they want to send money to, and then they will interact with our interface, it will send it off and interact with the blockchain and put that payment through. So um, that's a sort of rough idea of how it's going to work. If you want any more information, then you're always more than welcome to message me or pop a message on the chat, and we'll sort of go through it and sort of see a little bit more detail around the bits you want to hear or anything like that. So I'm always happy to help. But that's a general gist of how the actual API will work. And again, in terms of alpha, there will definitely be an alpha for game dev to implement it, and even for you guys to have a go with it. You know, it's going to be hopefully the end product for the actual users is going to be very easy. So you should be able to test it out and have a little play with the API and see, you know, how this could be used in a lot of different things. Because while at the moment we are marketing it towards gaming and the focus is on gaming because I'm in gaming and I love gaming and stuff like that. But going forward, I think there are a lot of different ways that this technology could be used. The idea of simple, fast payments, almost like um, a reward style of, you know, if you do something, you hit the API and you return a little bit of money, provided you have the right security on it. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Will we buy another question around doxing and growing the team. So doxing and growing the team, we definitely want to grow the team, and that sort of can be seen across us already getting our first person in marketing. I envision in the short term we'll have definitely someone doing community because that's not my strong point. So I'd love to have someone good doing community, and ideally I'd like someone who has an interest in crypto, has some experience with tokens, and maybe a sort of cross over into gaming. So that would be great. If there's anyone out there, please let me know. And then we'll also look into having someone for development, probably a sort of leader of development and then an overall developer as well, that we can sort of further the project with and sort of build it out more. So yes, we are looking for people. The size of the different teams I don't really know yet. We're sort of doing it as we need it. So obviously we've now got Tessa in, and that came for the need to do some more marketing. So we sort of brought her on board. And as we need new people, we'll be doing that. And that's why I'm sort of saying about community is because I feel it's about time to sort of look into growing the community team. So it's something that we'll be looking at in the short term. In terms of doxing, I'm working on it. The place I work just isn't a fan of people being, you know, doing anything to do with gaming that could have their name in the news. They're not interested. So I know as much as people want me to and want me to be doxxed and sort of know my name and see who I am and that sort of thing. At the moment, it's not happening. I'm working on it. I've filled out the forms to do it, so they can raise it as an external project and they understand the sort of situation and what it's all about. And then once they have a green light for that, I will of course let you guys know all the details around who I am and who the team is and that side of things. So hopefully it's coming soon, but I'm waiting on them. So I have nothing I can do about it. But once my employer comes back, then we'll be good to go and sort of see what the deal is with that. So, but I'll keep you updated as normal. And I'm hoping that for the moment, then sort of the transparency I give around the project is helping. Obviously, I know it's not the full deal, but we will be getting there eventually. I know there's a relatively small team, but is there some sort of PI planning, release train, implementation roadmap, or technical side of things? Um, we can expect an MVP in POC hopefully this week, a sort of basic one. What can we expect from it? We can expect a simple web app you can click around and see what the developers will see. There's obviously going to be two sides to the sort of web app, and that's going to be one, the technical side where you're hitting the endpoints, which will be more done by the game developer, and then what I envision is more like the business development person in the game, or maybe one of the leaders in the game will be using the web app, creating some endpoints, setting it up, setting how many people can hit them, etc., etc. And that side of things, what you'll see hopefully this week. So hopefully a reasonably nice looking web app with where you can create a game and work on it and create some endpoints and stuff. It's not going to be an overwhelming sort of miraculous release, but it's going to be just so you guys can see that we are working on it and we're doing that sort of thing. It's obvious that, well, a POC and MVP, we can't really use it as much going forward in development just purely because we have to redesign the different bits. So it will just purely be for you guys to see what our plans are and what we think it will look like in the future. But as you guys have seen in terms of the website and all of our documents and stuff, if we want to change the design and the development, we will do that. We'll make it look as the best we can, make it function the best we can. A technical roadmap is coming. It's another thing I'm talking to Tessa about. She mentioned that it should be something we put in place very soon, so I'm looking at that. I just need to do it, basically. It's on my list of things to do and to build out. We've got a very rough one, but I'd like to have something I can sort of release to you guys to actually see and not think it looks like sort of scrap writing on a bit of paper, which is kind of what it is at the moment, just for myself. But I'll get that out there as soon as possible. How to buy this token? The best way to buy this token is to head to Arigato token, arigatotoken.com, and then in the top right here, hit how to buy, and there's a little bit of information here. This is assuming that you have Trust Wallet downloaded with some BNB. If you don't, you can use the little buy function where you can convert fiat into BNB. But if you have any issues, just join the Telegram, which if you're on the website looking at this tutorial, you can just hit home, scroll down a little bit, and just hit on any one of these buttons, and there should be people there ready to help. My suggestion would be either the Discord or Telegram, probably the Telegram at the moment, and everyone will be more than happy to help you learn how to get involved with the token, and probably even teach you some bits around how it works and the different elements of it and what the project's doing. So feel free to come along and join the community. Wix versus private websites, and there's team members who can help. Yes, so at the moment, I'm not trying to hide it. We're using a Wix website instead of our own sort of built-up HTML, CSS, JavaScript website. There are reasons for this, and it's not just because I can't do it. I can. I sort of do web development outside of work, and I would say I'm reasonably skilled at it. And it's something that we will be using, obviously, to build the web app in the future. The reason we're using a Wix site at the moment is because as I'm sure you guys were around, we are growing very quickly, and at the time, I had absolutely no idea how many people would be sort of looking at the website tomorrow. So, and based on that, sorting out like hosting can be a bit of a nightmare in terms of if you have no idea, one, how much resources your web app's going to use, and two, how many people are going to be visiting it. So, I went with Wix just purely because they're very, very good at dealing with up and down spikes in traffic, which is what we see. Some hours I look at our tracking and we have 0 people on the website, and some people I look, last night for instance, we had upwards of 250 people on the website. So that can become a bit of a nightmare in terms of dealing with the technical side of hosting a website. Especially in the short term. Going forward, it will be something that we definitely 100% will be sorting out because we have to, because we will be hosting our web app. So the likelihood is we'll be using a DigitalOcean. Sorry, my headphones cut out. We'll be using a DigitalOcean Linux box to host our website with load balancing and such on there, routing through into a Laravel Forge sort of hosting environment, just because I will more than likely be building this in PHP and Laravel. So yeah, but we can talk that through as we're going, and I'm very aware that we have lots of skilled people in the community who want to help out. So as we move across, we'll be doing that, and that's actually another reason we use Wix is because if people want to log on and help out, there's a very quick learning curve to do it. So as an example, Tess wanted to change the image at the top, and I don't even know if Tess has HTML and CSS skills, but she can do that very easily with Wix without any worries around whether, if you're going to mess up the site or redeploying or anything. All that happens is you can log on, change some bits, save it, I can check it over, publish it out. It's just as simple as that. So in terms of the short term of making a website, it's just super simple. But we will be moving across, so not to worry. It's sort of inevitable. How do I buy? Again, you can go onto the website and sort of buy it all over. Um, and that's the end of our questions. We had 13 questions this week with a few duplicates. Hopefully, again, this has been a helpful video and you've sort of got what you needed to. Again, we'll do it again next Monday, and I'm always around for questions in Discord and Telegram, so please feel free to ask them. Um, you can always just at me or DM me. I have my DMs open on both Discord and Telegram, as well as even you can tweet me. So feel free to get in contact, and thank you again for being part of the community. And I look forward to the future of Arigato and to see where we go over the coming weeks. But thank you for tuning in and making it this far. So I'll speak to you all later. Thank you and goodbye.